What's going on, my fellow rideshare and delivery drivers and possible future Uber, Lyft, and delivery drivers? Welcome to my channel. I'm Driver Man. This channel is about rideshare and food delivery driving. So if you haven't yet, hit that red subscribe button below there so that you don't miss out on the latest tips and news all about rideshare and delivery driving. The title of today's video is "Why Are We Backtracking?" Okay, so got a story for you. There was this couple that I picked up one night when I was Uber driving in the Hollywood area. They had ordered an Uber pool. It was this guy dressed nicely with like a vest and glasses, and then the girl in a dress. Looked like they were going maybe to a club, whatnot. Anyways, we're driving along and another ping comes in for a different rider, and we had already started going towards the destination of the guy and the girl. And so I get the ping, and the pickup spot is basically like back where I picked them up at. So we're going back, and the guy's like, "Wait, where are you going? What are you doing? Why are we backtracking? Why are we going back?" And I was like, "Oh, because to pick up the other rider." He's like, "But we're going back. You know, my destination is this way. So why are we going back that way if we're going this way? That's just doesn't make sense." I said, "Well, I'm not in control of it. It's an Uber pool ride, and basically when people get added on, it tells me the order in which it wants me to pick people up and drop them off. It just so happens that this next person who got added to the pool is close to where you got picked up, so we got to go back and get them, and they're maybe going in the same direction as you." And he's like, "But that's just a waste of time." And I'm like, "Well, I suppose, you know, you could look at it that way, and it kind of is for you, but that's what happens when you order an Uber pool. It's cheaper because you're sharing with other passengers that you don't know, and that's what makes the ride less expensive." And so, I mean, if you wanted to not be interrupted as far as where you're going, you could have just, you know, ordered a regular Uber. That's what that's for. And he's like, "Oh, well, okay." And we're going along, and he still seems kind of upset. And so I'm like, we're talking. I say, "Well, I mean, you could always contact Uber and say, hey, you know what? I made a mistake, Uber. I wanted to get an Uber, regular Uber, and I get an Uber pool, and ended up spending time going back and wasting some miles and time on my fare for no reason. And who knows? Maybe they'll give you a refund or give you some credit. I don't know. That's the best that I can tell you." And then we keep going. We're moving along. The other passenger ends up canceling after we've already gone all the way back to pick them up. And so they're like, "Oh, I guess they canceled, so we don't need to pick them up anyway." But we had already gone back, so of course the guy is still upset that we drove all the way back, and now turns out for no reason. And so I see he's still like upset, and he's like kind of like moving around and kind of upset, and I'm like, "Are you okay? Are you? I mean, you look like you're still mad. I mean, we're going to your spot now." And he's like, "Yeah, but you know what? We still haven't addressed the nonverbal." And I look at him and I'm like, "The nonverbal? What do you mean the nonverbal?" And he's like, "Well, the fact that, you know, I'm still not a satisfied customer." And I'm like, "Well, yeah, I just told you that Uber is the only one who could satisfy you at this point. You ordered the ride, I accepted the ride, and I'm taking the ride, but I'm not in control of where it goes if it's a pool. And I can't, like, you know, reimburse your fare or anything like that, me, because it's all through the app. So it doesn't make sense that you're still upset." And he's like, "Yeah, well, I'm just, you know, I'm still not happy with the way that you've handled it as the Uber driver." And I'm like, "Dude, I just told you, you know, you can contact Uber. There's really nothing that I can do." And he's like, "Yeah, but, you know, I'm still just pissed off." And so he just created like this bad like vibe and mood in my car, and I didn't like it. And so I'm like, I'm looking at, like, I'm like, dude, I think I'm just gonna let you guys get another ride because you seem like you don't like me very much. And I had said this to him a couple times, at least one time prior, where I'm like, dude, if you don't like relax, I mean, I can just let you out and get another ride. And he's like, no, that's okay. But then, you know, he's doing this again. And I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna let you guys out, you know? And the girl he's with is like, actually, is there any way you could just, sorry, please just still take us? And I'm looking at the destination, and it's like 20 minutes away. I'm near, I think, K-Town at the time, and the destination was somewhere in Santa Monica. And so I'm like, you know what, if it was like 2 minutes away, I wouldn't even care. Wouldn't even bat an eye. I would just go ahead and finish taking you guys. But there's no way I'm gonna ride with this guy in my car for another 20 minutes when he's like steaming and he's all like angry and has this bad mood in my vehicle. No way. And so I pull over at a convenience store, a gas station, I remember, and he's like, oh, seriously? You're gonna do this? Seriously? I'm like, yeah, I am doing this. I think his name was Kevin. I was like, yeah, I'm doing this, Kevin. And then he's like, oh, you're just gonna let us out right here? And I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna let you out right here. He's like, really? You're gonna let us out right here? And I'm like, yes. And then he's just like, kind of silent, looks like he's shocked. And the girl, I mean, she doesn't know what to do. I feel bad for her because if it wasn't for his big mouth, everything would have been fine. But he just kept on insisting and being like a hard ass about it and a dick. So they're out, and then I take off, and that's that. So yeah, ultimately, if somebody is not making you feel good in your car, you have every right to just end the ride. You know, it's your car at the end of the day, your rules. So don't let somebody mar the mood or the atmosphere in your environment for something that's not your fault or in your control. It's just not worth it, and it's really just uncomfortable, you know, to ride with somebody like that when you're, you know, in that close quarters, who's just, you have a problem with them, and it just feels awkward and weird. And yeah, I won't do it. I won't deal with it. I don't have to deal with it, and I'm not gonna, because I don't get paid, you know, enough for that. No driver gets paid enough to deal with that BS. Not through Uber and Lyft, anyway. So I would suggest that you do the same if you were to encounter something like that. So anyways, yeah, I just wanted to share that story with you guys and let you guys know what happened, what was said, and how I handled it to the best of my ability, which is ultimately what you should do. But if the customer is just not being reasonable, what are you gonna do? You know, just end the ride and let them go. They can call another one, maybe calm down a little bit, and hopefully, you know, be nicer by the time the next person comes, and then, you know, they can order the ride that they want. Like this guy ordered a pool, now we can order an Uber X. So take care of yourself. You guys have an excellent week. Make sure that you hit that red button and subscribe so that you're not missing out on the latest tips and news all about rideshare and delivery driving. You guys have an awesome rest of the week.